talk about risk management, which is like literally probably the most important thing. So you can have a strategy, you could have a system in place, but if you don't know how to manage your risk, or if you don't have any kind of risk management plan in place, um, essentially you're going to end up losing all your money no matter what. So let's talk about money management 101. So the first thing is, like I just said, you got to have a system in place. The system needs to be able to control your risk and your money. You have to pre-plan your trades, like what we literally have just been doing, right? You have to pre-plan the trades. You can't just open up the charts and be like, yeah, here's a trade, and boom, and pop in a trade without risking putting in your risk parameters to what the trade is, without confirming your trade setups or having multiple forms of confirmations or anything like that. That's what like people who are trying to double their account in a day or whatnots do. You don't do that because you're trying to grow this out over an extended period of time of years, not week or month. The next thing is you need to expect losing streaks. Losing streaks are going to happen. You can't avoid them. They're going to happen. They usually happen right after a winning streak because you feel invincible. And you feel like you're God and you could like trade with your eyes closed. So the losing streaks are going to come. The question becomes, how do you stop them? And does your risk management plan allow you to account for them? So you got to learn basically how to manage your losing streaks. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do all that stuff. So when you talk about money management plan, it has to have a way for you to deal with losing streaks. It has to allow you to flatline the losses. So you have to be able to kill the losses. Plan has to allow you to have a step equity growth, right? So you ever looked at somebody's, or even your own, like let's say my FX book, and you notice how you start off at 0 and then like you go down 10, up, down, 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 and then up, 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 like an equity curve like that. The equity curve that you want to have is basically almost like a trending cycle, like up, a retracement. The retracement is basically your losses. Another up, down, up, down, up, down. A smooth, up and down, but going up in an up motion. You don't want to have an equity curve of going, starting at 0, going down 10%, then coming back up 5, and then going back down 20, then going up 15, back down 10. Like, you don't want to have that. Now, good money management plan allows you to move or reduce your risk based on your wins and losses. So you should be able to move or reduce your risk based on how you're doing within your wins and your losses. So what does that look like? What does a risk management plan look like, essentially? Here's the risk management plan that you should be using. The first thing is determining how much money do you have to trade, right? So how much money do you have to trade? Give me an example. So you have 1K in your account. What do you think should be your lot size if you have 1K in your account? How many pips in general is a 0.10? What's the dollar amount per pip? So if you're going to be trading a 0.10 lot, how much money is that per pip? Right, $1, right? Yes, $1. Okay. So if you're trying to trade $1,000 account and your goal is to make 30 pips, that basically means that you're making $30 per trade, right? Everybody follow me so far? So every trade that you take is basically worth $30. Every loss that you take is worth $15. That makes sense so far? So if you're risking $15 per trade because you're taking a standard lot size, what's the percentage of that of your account that you're risking per trade? Right, 1.5. Right, so the percentage that you're risking is 1.5%. Okay? So kind of basically like super low risk, right? Pretty low. Nothing too extravagant or crazy, right? So how can you make this work to where you can have a plan in place to where essentially you're trading and having to manage your risk along the way? Here's how I would do it. If I have $1,000 account and the lot size that I'm trading is 0.10, here's what I'm thinking in my head. The actual lot size of 1.0 of 0.10 is my max lot size. So 0.10 is my max. That's the max lot size that I can use on one trade. But what if you want to trade 3 pairs? What if there's setups? What if there's really good setups on like 3 pairs? What do you do? Do you trade 0.10, 0.10, 0.10 on each pair? Right? You definitely don't do that, right? Because then you're risking 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, right? Now you're up to like 4 something percent of your account, right? So you're not doing that. So here's what I would do. I would start out with trading like this. So my first trade that I would take is actually at a point, 0.06 is my first trade, and this is what the premise of you taking one trade at a time. Okay. If you're taking multiple trades, then you split this in half. But let's just say we're taking one trade at a time. So if you take a 0.06 trade, the first trade that you take, and let's say you win that one, right? The next trade that I take, I'm doing a 0.7. If I win that trade, cool. I go to a 0.8 the next trade. If I win that, the next trade I take is a 0.9. If I win that, then the next trade is a point W, or a point 0.10. So I've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades. Let's say that I've won all the trades. Okay. What usually happens after you win 5 trades? Think about what your emotional state is after you win 5 straight trades. What are you thinking about? Big lot size, right? How high is your confidence? To the moon, right? Yeah, exactly. So, what typically happens to the retail trader when they get 5 wins in a row? They're like, man, this is way too easy, right? Why am I trading a 0.10? Why don't I trade a standard lot instead? And so what's probably going to happen when he trades this one lot size? A loss is coming, right? So all the profits that you did great on all your 5 trades here are gone, and you jacked it up on one trade because you over leveraged your account. right? So to account for this, this is what I do. So if I get 5 wins in a row, okay, my next trade after this, I'm actually going back to 0.06. Because if I take a loss on the next trade, I'd rather be at a 0.06 than at my max lot size. Does that make sense to you guys? So that's what I'm doing on my next trade. If I win this one, awesome. I do it all over again. 07, win. 08, win. Keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Right? So I keep doing this. As long as I'm winning, I keep doing. I go one up until I get to the max. Once I get to my max, I go back and start over again. Because I'm expecting a loss. At some point, it's going to happen. I'd rather it be at a 06, 07, 08, 09, right? I don't want it to be at a 0.10. Okay? So now, let's say I had this, I did it, I won all 5, I go back to 0.06 right here, right? And let's say that on this 0.06, let's just say I actually lose that one. My next trade that I take is still at a 0.06. If I win this one, cool. I go back and I go up to a 0.07. If I lose this one, I'm going back my next trade to a 0.06. So let's say I win this one, and then I go up to a 0.07. I win this one, I go back to a 0.08, and let's say this one I lose. Cool. I go back, my next trade is a 0.06 again. So every time that I lose a trade, I go back to my smallest lot size. Is everybody following me? So this allows me to automatically account for my losses. I'm already expecting it, right? So if I take a loss and I go back to 0.06, and then the next trade, I go 0.07, I take a loss. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. If I take a loss at 0.06, my next trade is again a 0.06. If I take another loss, my next trade is a 0.06. If I take another loss, my point is a 0.06. So if I'm losing, I'm not going anywhere up in my lot size. I'm staying the same. But now, what is the problem that I encounter here? What's my biggest problem now? What am I in right now? Losing streak, right. So I'm in the middle of a losing streak. What do? I stop trading. You stop trading. If you get to 4 losses in a row, you stop trading. And I mean stop trading for like that day or the week or whatever, depending on how these losses come. If you've taken, if you're taking a trade, let's say 1 trade a day, and you've lost 4 trades in a row, stop trading for the week. Or cut the week short and call it a day. So if you've taken 4 trades in a day and you've lost 4 in a day, just stop trading for that day. If you've taken, 4 losses in a week in a row like this, stop trading for that week. There's no point in trying to keep trading, because after 4 losses, your mindset is all about trying to get the money back, and it's no longer about trying to find the right setup. Your mindset is about revenge trading to get back your money that you lost. So what do you do after that week or the day is over? How do you get back? Yeah, it happens. That's why I'm saying it. Word is because that's literally what happens. You start losing, and it seems for the life of you can't get not even one damn pip. Not even if they're giving them away, you can't catch them. And so you end up making just really stupid mistakes for no reason. So just stop trading. Cut the losses already. It's like you're literally like bleeding out money. So cut it. Just remember that you're not here for a trading of a week or a month or whatever. You're trying to do this for years to come. You can't sustain the kind of losing that that you're doing. So just cut it. So what you have to do now is, after you stop trading, you got to have a plan to how do you get back on the winning side of a trade, right? How do you find a winning trade? So what you do is you go ahead and you have what's called a signature trade. So you have a signature trade. What the hell is a signature trade, you may ask? A signature trade is a trade setup that will get you a win. Think of different trade setups as different, playing cards. You want to play your ace. So if you're really good at type 1 setups, or if you're really good at continuation trades, or if you're really good at type 3 setups, whatever that setup is, that's the one that you're going to use. So essentially, you're not going to take a trade until you get that specific trade to show up on the charts. So whatever that trade setup is, whatever it's, continuation trade, reversal, type 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Whatever your best trade setup is that you know well, that has all your confirmations, all that stuff. That's the next trade that you're taking, and you're not taking any other trades besides that one. And so once you do it, obviously then the cycle starts over again, right? You still do a point W, and then you could start going again. Now, what if you run into a situation to where your balance, let's say your balance of 1K that you initially started with drops below 1K. So if your balance is ever below the initial starting point that you had, you're doing nothing else but trading 0.06s until you get back up to your original balance. Does that make sense to you guys? If your balance gets to be 20% or less, so in this case of $1,000, if it's like, let's say $800, let's say your balance drops to $800, you cannot trade a 0.06 as your minimum stop loss. You have to make the adjustments, because at $800 your max lot size should be a point what? Right, a 0.08. So then just do the math. If your max lot size is a 0.08 at that point, right, just go backwards. 0.07, 06, 05, 04. So you're trading at a 0.04. And you're still at a 0.04 until you get back up to 1K. When you get up to 1K, you can go back to your 0.06. So if your account balance ever drops below 20%, so in this case from 1K to 800, you need to adjust your lot size correctly, so you can literally account for the fact that you lost to 20% of your account. Because if you don't adjust your lot size at that point, you're basically now trading an $800 account close to your maximum lot size. And so if you take any losses, this is going to drain a lot faster. This is why if you have 4 losses in a row or more, just stop trading. Go back to the minimum lot size and then go ahead and trade the signature trade, whatever that may be. You're not trading anything else but that signature trade first. Yes. Is there a point when you raise your lot sizes? Yes, there is a point where you can raise your lot sizes. But in order to raise your lot size, what do you need to have? If you're talking about, do I raise my lot size just to trade the signature trade? No. If you want to trade, like, let's say if you want to trade more than this, you need more of that. So if you want to trade more than this as your max, you need more money, right? So let's say that you started with 1K, right? You trade your 0.01 or your 0.10 lot, and let's say you do this plan and you grow it to 2K. Once you get to 2K, and now you can up your max to this as your max. So every $1,000 you go up, you raise it basically. So 3K would be 0.30, and it's the same thing, right? If you have a 3K in your account and your max is 3.0, then you're just going back down 5. So you're doing what, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. For the compound effect, if you're trying to really grow an account yourself, like from scratch, right? You have to allow the compound effect to take place. The compound effect on a trading account really doesn't even get started until you get to 10K. That's when it really starts, because at that point now you're trading a standard lot size. And so at that point now it's $300 per trade. So if you really think about, what in general, how many people if you take a poll of 100 people, you're like, hey, every month, about how much money would you need a month to kind of survive, and just live a normal good life? What would you think that number is? To live it, I'm not talking about like living like an extravagant lifestyle. I'm just talking about living a good normal life, having your bills paid, having all of your bills paid, being able to support you, your family, or whatever. Everybody's number is different, right? We get that. But like in general, if you ask somebody, hey, if you poll 100 or 1,000 people or whatever, I think the average is going to range somewhere around 5 to 6K or something like that, depending, of course, on where you live. If you live in New York, you fucking need some crazy amount of money. Same thing if you live in California. California and New York are like the two anomalies because they're so expensive to live. But let's just say if most people can get by with 5K a month, what does that translate to into actual trades, right? So if you're making, let's say, 300 per trade, that's about 16 trades or so a month. So 16 trades per month, what does that come out to a week? It's like 4 trades a week. So 4 trades a week, $300 a trade, that's $1,200 a week. Times 4, it comes out to like $4,800 or so. So if you just get to 10K, this is where your account can really compound, or starts to compound. This is why it's so important to still have a job, because once you get it to 10K, now you're good. Now you can really start to see the effect on your trade or on your trading account. So once you, Sharon, so you asked, once you make like 2,000, should you withdraw your initial deposit? I mean, that's kind of up to you. if you want to do that. You have to remember everything that you withdraw, like you're paying capital gains on that. So yeah, that's why I keep saying like you need a job, right? You need to keep your job. Because if you want to live off your if you want to live off the profits of your trading, you need to build your account first. You can't quit your job if you just have 10K in your trading account. What I'm saying is once you get to 10K, you'll see your account grow a hell of a lot faster. Nowadays though, with the added the addition of like all these prop firms that'll give you the money to trade, that's not no longer like a real problem. Now it's just talking about, do you know how to trade? The money part is no longer an issue. You not having 10K to trade, you not having $1,000 to trade, now that's no longer a problem anymore, because you can just trade with a prop firm and they'll give you 100K. You just need to know how to trade. So now the opportunity of you actually making 5, 6, 7K are way more realistic. Because if you know how to trade and you have a $100,000 account, I mean, just do the math. What's your lot size? What's your lot size on a 100K account? It's not 100 lots, Sam. It's 10 lots. You don't want to trade 100 lots. So on a 100K account, and you're trading 10 lots per trade, what's every trade worth? If a standard lot is worth $300, what's a 10 standard lots worth? Right, 3,000. So every trade is now a 3K trade. I mean, I'm not no mathematician or something, but if you take 16 trades at 3K per trade, that's a pretty big chunk of change. So like when you have an account like that, realistically, there's no reason for you to even trade a 10 lot sizes. There's no reason to even stress about trading the max lot size. You could trade five lots. If you average 16, I mean, you're still making like 24K a month. Like, what are we talking about? You know? So everything opens up, I'm telling you, once you have the money in the account. The possibilities are endless. The excuse that we had for so long is that we never had the money. Oh my God, we don't have 10, 20 grand to have in a trading account, because we're just normal people, right? But now we do have the ability to do that. We just need to know how to do the skill.
Guys, if you need any more help or you like the content that we provide on this channel, come on over to the FXN Masterclass. It's available right now. What you get essentially is a lifetime membership, a full mentoring course, an advanced course. You get the Blue Summit videos, weekly Q&A sessions every Sunday, group session archives, which that by alone has about 100 hours of content, weekly analysis videos, midweek analysis videos, MT4 and MT5 indicators, a customized trading journal so you could actually journal your trades every day, and then a backtesting journal that you can use to backtest and collect all of your data. Not to mention a mentoring private chat, guys. So all the information is in the link in the description if you want to join now. We look forward to seeing you there, guys, and take care of yourselves.